Imagine walking through a forest at night. Everything looks normal. The trees are quiet. The insects are moving. The ants are crawling along the branches. But hidden inside some of those tiny animals, something else is driving. Not a brain, not a thought, not a choice. Parasite. And for some creatures, infection does not just mean sickness. It means their own body becomes a puppet. Their legs still move. Their mouth still bites. Their eyes still see. But the mission inside their body is no longer theirs. It belongs to something smaller, colder, and much harder to stop. This is the terrifying world of mind-controlling parasites. And the scariest part is this: they are real. Parasites are living things that survive by using other living things. Some steal food. Some hide inside blood. Some grow quietly inside organs. But a few parasites do something much stranger. They do not just live inside the host. They change what the host does. They can make an animal walk toward danger. They can make it climb higher. They can make it lose fear. They can even make it die in the perfect place for the parasite to spread. To us, it sounds like horror. But in nature, it is strategy. A parasite does not need muscles if it can borrow yours. It does not need wings if it can make another creature carry it. It does not need courage if it can erase fear from the victim. One of the most famous examples is the zombie ant fungus. Deep in tropical forests, a tiny fungal spore can land on an ant. First, nothing dramatic happens. The ant keeps walking, keeps working, keeps living with the colony. But slowly, the fungus spreads through its body. The ant is still alive, but something inside it is growing. Then, one day, the ant begins to act wrong. It leaves the safety of the colony. It walks away from the other ants, climbs up a plant. Then it bites down hard onto a leaf or twig, and it does not let go. This is sometimes called the death grip. The ant dies locked in place. Then the fungus grows from the dead ant's body and releases spores down onto the forest floor, where more ants may pass below. Scientists have found that zombie ant fungi can manipulate ant behavior and make infected ants bite vegetation before death. Research also suggests the fungus can grow through much of the ant's body and muscles while the brain may remain largely untouched, meaning it may control the body like a puppeteer pulling strings. That is what makes this so creepy. The ant is not just attacked. It is used. Its final walk becomes part of the fungus's life cycle. This death becomes a launch pad. And this is only one example. There is another parasite that does something even more disturbing: the horsehair worm. This long, thin worm begins life tiny, but it can grow inside insects like crickets and grasshoppers. For a long time, the infected insect may still hop around like normal. But the worm has a problem. As an adult, it needs water to reproduce. The cricket does not live in water. So the parasite changes the host's behavior. The infected cricket begins moving toward water. Then, when it reaches the edge, it jumps in. For the cricket, this can mean death. For the worm, this is freedom. The worm bursts out into the water, leaving the host behind, and continues its own life cycle. Studies and wildlife sources describe horsehair worms as parasites that can alter cricket behavior around water, causing infected hosts to enter water so the adult worm can emerge and reproduce. Think about that for a second. The cricket does not understand the parasite's plan. It does not know the worm needs water, but its body still moves toward the place where the parasite wants to go. The host becomes transportation. The host becomes a door. And when the parasite is ready, the host is no longer needed. Then there is a parasite that uses something even more powerful than movement: fear. Its name is Toxoplasma gondii. This single-celled parasite can infect many warm-blooded animals, including rodents, birds, and humans. But there is one animal that matters most to its life cycle: cats. Cats and other felines are the definitive hosts of Toxoplasma gondii, meaning the parasite's sexual life cycle happens in them. CDC explains that cats can shed oocysts in their feces, and other animals can become infected by ingesting contaminated soil, water, plants, or prey. Now here is where it gets strange. Rodents are naturally afraid of cats. That fear keeps them alive. Cat smell should make a mouse run away. But research has shown that Toxoplasma infection can affect rodent responses to cat odor, reducing their normal fear response in ways that could make them easier for cats to catch. And if a cat eats the infected rodent, the parasite reaches the host it needs. That does not mean cats are evil. And it does not mean every infected animal becomes a zombie. Nature is more complicated than that. But the idea is terrifying because it shows how small life forms can influence big decisions. Run away. Climb higher. Jump into water. Walk toward the predator. For the host, these choices may be fatal. For the parasite, they are survival. Another strange example is the lancet liver fluke. Its life cycle is like a dark relay race between animals. First, the parasite's eggs are eaten by snails. Then the snail releases slime balls containing parasite larvae. Ants eat those slime balls. Then, inside the ant, the parasite changes behavior again. At the right time, the infected ant climbs to the top of grass and clamps down with its jaws. Why? Because grazing animals like sheep or cattle eat grass. If the ant is eaten, the parasite reaches the next host and continues its life cycle. Studies describe lancet liver fluke infection causing ants to climb and bite onto vegetation, which can increase the chance that grazing animals eat them. So the ant becomes bait. Not because it wants to, because something inside it changed the rules. This is the dark genius of parasites. They do not have to be strong. They do not have to be fast. They do not have to hunt like wolves or bite like lions. They just need to understand one weakness in the system. A smell, a muscle, a fear response, a daily habit, a place where the host normally walks. And once they find that weakness, evolution sharpens it over millions of years. But it is important to remember something. These parasites are not thinking like villains. They are not planning like humans. They are not sitting inside the body saying, "Now I will control you." What happens is natural selection. Parasites that accidentally caused useful host behavior survived better. The ones that made ants climb spread more spores. The ones that made crickets enter water reproduced more successfully. The ones that changed fear in rodents had a better chance of reaching cats. Over time, the strangest strategy became the winning strategy. And that is almost scarier, because there is no evil mastermind, no monster with a plan, just life doing whatever works. Now, when humans hear mind-controlling parasite, we often imagine horror movies. A fungus infecting people, crowds turning into zombies, brains being completely controlled. But real science is more careful. Some parasites can influence animal behavior in powerful ways. Some can affect human health. Toxoplasmosis, for example, is often mild or has no symptoms in healthy people. But CDC says it can be serious for pregnant people and people with weakened immune systems. But humans are not crickets. We are not ants. And real parasites do not work like movie zombies. Still, the truth is already disturbing enough. Because these tiny organisms reveal something uncomfortable. Your behavior is not only you. Your body is a living world. Inside every animal are chemicals, nerves, instincts, immune signals, bacteria, and sometimes parasites. And when something changes that inner world, behavior can change too. A brave animal can become careless. A careful insect can walk into danger. A healthy ant can leave its colony and climb to its own death. Nature is not always a battlefield of teeth and claws. Sometimes the deadliest weapon is invisible. Sometimes the hunter does not chase. It waits inside. It grows quietly. It changes one tiny switch. And then the victim walks itself to the end. So next time you see an ant frozen on a leaf, or a cricket jumping into water, or hear about a mouse losing its fear of a cat, remember, in nature, not every puppet has strings. Some strings are hidden inside the body, and some of the most terrifying killers on Earth are too small to see coming.